In the Pokemon world, it's every young lad's dream to make it to 10 years old, get kicked out the house, and sweep the Elite Four of their region to be the very best. Like, no one in history ever was. Except for that guy in Hoenn who did the same thing. And over in Kalos. And Galar, you know, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of champions out there. After about 8 leagues, it kind of loses prestige, right? So there's only one way to settle this whole thing. A worldwide Elite Four to determine the World Heavyweight Champion of Japanese Monster OC fighting. As if the entire world were just one giant region. These would be the 5 trainers taken from the 7 fully known Pokemon leagues that you're gonna have to wipe out gauntlet style one by one to become the one champion of Pocketmon. We had the World Tournament in Black and White too. It's kind of a piss take thing. It's there if you want it, you know? And it's missing a lot of the strongest trainers as well. But this time, none of the strongest are left out. Because it's the very strongest Elite Four. It's the elitist Elite Four. Wait, that sounded better in my head. Which, you gotta trust me in this one. Because it might not sound like it at first. Because the first one you're up against is called Karen. Because you see, Karen isn't just an easy target name, or a piping hot computer wife. She's one of the trickiest Elite Four members, because the thing that makes Karen such a Karen is how her team dives straight into the deep end of the most annoying bits of the move pool. Her lineup for this would be Umbreon, Weevil, Honchkrow, Spiritomb, and then you have Houndoom. Naturally, the star child of the team, the holographic at the front of that starter deck with 30 energy cards trailing behind it. And then the secret rare you weren't expecting at all. She's gonna mega that Gengar for this one. I see you, Absol. I see you, but you're being saved on the Karen Reserve squad, right next to Vileplume until it gets insanely accurate at chucking Slumber Dust. Because this team's very attack heavy as it is. Umbreon and Spiritomb are going to need to pull their defensive weight to hold the team together. Because aside from Mega Gengar, that team doesn't sound like it's going to give you much of that business. But she's one long move tutor sesh away from handing you and the entire world the business for the worldwide Pokemon League. She might not have realized it back in Johto, but Karen's packing priority moves, protection moves, healing moves, status infliction moves. Her team's going to wear you down for Gengar to trap you and sweep up the remains like a jet-fueled Roomba. You're going to need some good fairy bug or fighting types to get through them. And all 3 of them have a counter in some form. Honchkrow takes care of the muscle, Gengar would sludge wave your nan if she said the word fairy loud enough near Karen and her team, and Houndoom burns down any bug that isn't a genetic jackhammer who would absorb your sludgy nan. If you make it past Karen, you go up that long escalator to the 2nd floor, and at first, I was thinking you would run into Flint. This team's kinda solid, you know, once you get real and you ditch the Flareon, and then you mega up that Lopunny. But then I forgot about how solid the Pokemon League Unova had going for it was. So there's a bigger threat here, because Kaitlyn has a psychic team with enough collective brain power to make Pokemon real, and the collective brawn power behind it to stop anyone from becoming the world champion. Kaitlyn's waiting on the 2nd floor with Alakazam, the speedy special boy, Gallade, your physical man, and a good fighting counter to those dark types. Reuniclus, the buff special attacker with recovery. Moshana, bulky Carminder, has recovery as well, yeah? Bronzong, Levitate, Stealth Rocks, an all-round defensive unit of the team. And then, the main event, Metagross, because Kaitlyn's finessing that stone off Steven and Megazording up this unit. You know she was in the Battle Frontier before Unova, but most she's barely even noticed, because it's not even worth Kaitlyn's time to clock in for that one. Now she pays her butler to deal with that sideman business, because she's that damn good solo, radiating nuclear amounts of frontman energy to the point where any sideman will do whatever she says. Describes her butler like, oh, he's neat as always, really. He's lovely. He came all the way down to Unova, cleaned the villa, and then pissed off. Ooh, that's rough. Gotta rethink the team now. You can only have one Mega, can't you? Clearly can't have Mega Metagross, she's already cashed in that stone for this Mega Melt. The Elite Four is for the big boys. She steps up this time round, proving exactly what Drake's been saying this whole time. The Elite Four is the frontman challenge. And speaking of Drake, if you do manage to shift your way past Karen and Kaitlyn, you better chuck your Pokeballs into a vat of full restored juice, because you're headed straight into the absolute legend himself. Drake is a trainer that emits huge, rum drinking, up for a scrap anytime, any place, Crabrawler energy. That alone should have him within the worldwide elite, and it wouldn't be an Elite 4 without the true Dragon Master and his 6 weapons. We got Salamence. Of course we do. What are you talking? The big beefy boy across the board. Drake can have him do whatever he wants, because he's got Mega, which means across the board wedge stats. Then the right hand man, Haxorus, the one other mon to edge out Mega Salamence on pure muscle, with relatively decent speed and a dangerous move pool to back it up. And then Kingdra, he can do whatever you want with these flat stats, but in this context, he's got to be a special attacker. Altaria, pretty outmatched compared to the rest of Drake's absolute weapon of a team, but you need defense. Altaria, you can step up for that, along with Dragalge. Yeah? The main defensive link of the team, and he has poison moves, you know, deal them fairies flying around the place. What are you doing? And Flygon. You're a lot more average than you should be, aren't you, Flygon? But you're convenient, you've got U-turn, you've got Levitate, you've got Defog. And having Defog, that saves Altaria a free slot from having to learn it, so Drake's got that slot free for Heal Bell. You're not fully useless, Flygon, there's hope for you. Drake is my top Elite 4 guy, tied with Karen maybe, but he's not the top of the 4. And there's a valid reason that's stopping him from getting there, because compared to some others, he's barely been in the games. You barely see this man. Like the World Tournament in Black and White 2, you had to see all of these legendary trainers and what kind of monstrosities they've built up over the years. Drake didn't get any of that. None of us know what Drake, the true Dragon Master, gets up to when he sails all the way to the Unova region to publicly fight a 10-year-old girl. No one knows what he's been up to. Man's out there with a Mega Flygon, a Crabrawler with an evolution fitting of the King Crab, and an evolved Dragon Dunsparce. But none of us will ever see. Maybe Mr. Briny will, those two are like that. When he makes it back from the long seas, I have no doubt he's gonna be the world champion. But for now, the final slot of the Elite 4 cannot go to the Alpha Drake, and it has to go to the Turbo Virgin Lance. The man sleeps with a cape on, but he's got some wedge to his Pokemon, so fair enough. He's got an unfair advantage because he's been featured in so many games. You get to see all these new Pokemon he has, and because of that, he has enough variety on his teams to separate him from Drake. He's changed over the years. A little bit, he still wears a cape, but for the most part, he's realised he looks like a massive Seto Kaiba melt with his 3 big, strong dragons. Nowadays, he's more of a mixed trainer who just so happens to occasionally nut over dragons. So this team would be Gyarados, Tyranitar, Aerodactyl, Lapras, Mega Charizard, and obviously, he can't leave the house without one of his Dragonites. Whichever one of the 3 he likes most. Probably the one he uses electric moves, based on how the rest of the team looks already. Not much finesse to Lance, really. He's a simple trainer at his core. The others mostly have some competitive strategy to them, and they have a bit of balance, whereas this team's pretty much a giant fist with a veiny bicep. No, wait, that's actually it. That's actually it, isn't it? Lance is number 2, because he deadass takes the Seto Kaiba approach. That whole, you have puny monsters, whereas I have big boy dragons. They make me the strongest, and you're the king of games? Haha, more like king of lames. Alright, that's it, Lance. Now you're going to the distortion realm. He's a massive dweeb, but whatever, fair play to him. He's reached a very high point in one's career. He can wear whatever the hell he wants, and not be rinsed for it. Except by me. He's gone to that point of success where you can put on whatever the hell you want and not look like a complete wanker to everyone. Again, except me. But he's not reached the highest point. So until then, who is the world champion? Who is the top guy at whipping creatures into peak condition and commanding them with some insane, big brainium cockfighting IQ? But it's not Lance, so Red. Red's the top guy, surely. Has to be. Nah, Red, he's just a sweaty level grinder. His team's dead compared to Cynthia. Champion of the world is only fitting for the bridge between us and God. Cynthia talks to God himself. Red doesn't even talk to his mum. Man's on mute. No idea how he tells his Pokemon how to fight. I mean, what about Steven as well, though? I ain't sure. He is close second. Maybe. Mate, you take away Metagross, he's just a yoked-up Ruin Maniac trainer, aren't you, Stevie? And he focuses on Steel too much. The heavyweight champion of the world should have a mixed team. And in this case, probably more bantamweight champion of the world, because Cynthia is the top don here. The After Stark Mountain squad is the lineup she's going to use to make sure no pesky, mute 10-year-olds retire her ass back to Celestic Town. And since she's not really too keen for that, the Mega Stone's going from Garchomp to Lucario. Thick boy, juice to the wings Garchomp. It's not really championship material with that Super Saiyan 2 Trunks speed cut. She doesn't need brute strength alone, she's got battle IQ. Pocket Monsteru finesse. You get me? Seriously though, her team's actually a lot more thought out than you might think at first. If you change the moveset to suit battling online, it actually checks off a lot. Garchomp, the muscle, has the big boy punches, has the rocks, and he gets them out easily because he's scary big boy dragon. Togekiss, high special stats and acts as a cleric. Milotic, bit air, but specially defensive wall, recovers, scalds, and even gets more defensive bulk when status inflicted. Roserade, stabs, spikes, heals herself. Madting, Spiritomb, gimmicky move pool, defensive type and stats. And Mega Lucario, the overpowered swords dancer who you can never safely switch into. Or safely have your kids around your furry weapon. So one day, inevitably when those wormholes open up across the world and the hordes of Buzzswole come storming in fresh off the creatine, flying around absorbing your nans, who's gonna be at the front lines sending them back to the Shadow Realm? You're damn right, it's Cynthia, the one trainer everyone should fear, especially once she gets the drop that Smogon exists and fixes up those moves. Those mute 10-year-olds gonna be staying in school the day that happens.